Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we don't really have a specific car that we're working on. It's going to be a how-to repair video. Now above me is a Jeep Wrangler. We are doing a transpan on it, and we have a couple of studs that broke on the holders for the transpan. And I'm going to show you guys how to extract if this situation happens to you. We're going to extract those studs and the holders today. So with that said, let's go ahead and start on today's video, guys. But before we do so, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below and hit the like button. It'll definitely help the channel out. Now let's go ahead and begin. First and foremost, guys, if you guys want to see the video on replacing this pan, I will be making a separate video. However, this specific video today, we're going to be focusing in on the two problem areas that I'm having with this car. Now, I'll try to get my light on here as best as I can for you guys. You will see here we have a broken stud on the transmission there. Let me see if I can get the camera to zoom in a little bit. So we have that broken stud right there, and we have that broken head on the bolt, and the stud is firmly in place with the holder. It just won't come out. This transmission on this Jeep is a transmission style that is used a lot in Mercedes, guys. So it's been borrowed from Mercedes. They call these the NAG1, so a nag 1. And you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be nagging about it today because this thing is busting my chops. Now the way this transmission is basically holding its pan on into place, it's using these little holders. Now I don't know how well you guys will see it, and we have this little cutout here. The way this works is the cutout will hold the pan, this will go on the transmission body, and then we have these Torx bolts that you're supposed to be using, and we have something like this. Now these should go together. Let me grab another one because they do rust up and then they always give you an issue. But basically, imagine this is going up like that, holding the transmission. You put that bolt through it, and that's what you're left with right there. That's what we should have. Now if you guys will notice, this side the stud broke off, but the holder came off. There's the part of the bolt that, you know, snapped off the head. Very common issue on these. And on the other side, we basically snapped off the head, but the holder is rotted into place with it. Now I'm going to show you guys a method on each of these, the best way to get them out. Typically they do come out without a lot of crazy work, but you know, sometimes this can be a pretty stressful situation, especially if you're doing this at home. But let's just say you're not alone. This happens quite a bit, and today we're going to extract both of these out. So let me grab some tools and let me show you how to do this. Now you're going to need a few tools, guys, and it's pretty common stuff except for one tool you may have to go out and pick up, or you can use it you can use a different method, I'll say. So the first tool that we're going to be needing is, you need a pair of pliers, something that looks like this. The other tool that's more of a specialty tool, guys, if you guys have it, you can get one if you don't have it. But we're going to be using a ratchet with a stud remover. Now what a stud remover is, it has little cam lock gears in there. You put the stud through it and you can basically spin it off. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world, but it does make this a lot easier. And then last but not least, guys, we're going to need a small torch, something like this, very low power. We're not looking for oxyacetylene here. We're not trying to burn a hole through the transmission. These components are very fragile. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. Now I'm going to focus on this one first. Let me see if I can get the camera all the way up there and zoom you guys in so I can show you guys in exact detail of how to do this. This is the best angle I could get you guys in for this one, and hopefully you guys are able to see this pretty clearly. Now when this happens to you, these bolts aren't really held on there with a lot of force. They do have a tendency to rot on there, and it can happen, especially if, like in our vehicle, this has been basically a salt issue. That's why this bolt rotted away. Now what we're gonna do is take your low powered torch, and again guys, low powered is keyword here, and we're going to heat up our bolt here, or our stud I should say, whatever is left of our bolt. You know, what you're gonna want to do is just hold it on there for a little bit, not an extreme case, maybe about a minute or so. I usually wait until I see it reacting, meaning I can see the oil burning off of it, or it starts, you know, making a little bit of water molecules here. because this will sweat with the heat because it's currently cold here in Chicago. So this trans is pretty cold, so it's gonna sweat a little bit. Now that that's heated up, you have two ways to do this. Now, if you don't have the stud removal tool, guys, grab yourself a pair of vice grips, or pliers like this. Grab this here and just start turning on it. That would be the best way to do it. Since I have a stud remover, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put my stud remover on there and go ahead and spin it until it catches, which right there, it's nice and hot. And then we are going to slowly turn our stud remover. Now I felt it kind of let loose there, so let me see if this thing is loose, and it is. Now it's still a little bit hot, but you guys can see that it's moving. Now let's say you don't have the stud remover tool, but you went ahead and you heated it up, guys. The best way to do it, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a visual even though we just broke it loose, is you would come in here and you would basically spin it off like this using a vice grip. Or pliers like this. Now I would recommend a vice grip because it can bite into it. This has a possibility of slipping here, but the only reason why I'm using this as an example is just kind of give you guys a little bit of guidance on how it works. Now this thing should be cool, and we were able to extract it out. The reason why these come out is because they're not really torqued on there, especially if they're original. You guys will see right here, it just layers up and it holds out onto that little placeholder, kind of like what happened on the other side where it all becomes one, and then the head snaps off because it is a Torx bolt. So now that we have that one off, we're gonna go ahead and switch the camera to the other side, and I'll show you guys how we get this other one off. So for this other side here, guys, we clearly don't have a stud that we could put a stud removal tool on to remove. So the tools for this one are going to be your torch again. You're going to need a pair of channel locks similar to this, and I'm also going to be using the same pair of pliers that we had there previously. Now the method is going to be pretty much the same. It's just going to take a little bit of more heat for this one, especially since it's it has more aluminum on it. It's going to dissipate it pretty quick. For something like this, I mean, the small torch is what I use to be safe because we are working on a transmission. However, you can use a little bit of a bigger torch, maybe propane or MAP gas. Just be very careful not to get the heat in the transmission. Always face it out and be mindful of your areas. But I like using my small torch just because it's easier to control. What I'm gonna do is the same basic principle, guys. We are going to heat it up, and I'm not gonna show you 5 minutes of me holding my torch up there, but I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to heat it up at the base, pointing the flame away from the transmission. Now this has a large majority of metal on here. It's not just a stud, so it's gonna take longer times for me to heat it up. I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera, and I'll come back when it's all heated up and ready to be removed. So I've had my heat on there for about 5 minutes, guys, so now time is of the essence. What I'm gonna do is grab my pliers, and the reason why I like grabbing these is because they're sturdy and big. And what I'm gonna do is come in here and I'm just going to rock this and be very, very careful. Now, I've rocked it a few times here and it's actually breaking loose. Now this can be a little scary because the stud could be breaking itself loose, or it could be just a placeholder. Now that we got some pretty good movement on there, I'm gonna switch it out to my smaller pair of pliers here, and let's see. We're going to continue rocking it, but we're gonna be going backwards and forwards. Now I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure this is gonna come off with the stud. So we are going to work it around, and now we have a little cutout here so we can see the stud is actually moving. It's moving fairly easy now. I think we made it way past the breaking point, and we should be able to just spin this off fairly easy, just like that. That's all it took, guys. Now this is going to be very hot, so be careful. You may not want to handle it in your hands right away. As you can see, it came out, no threads were harmed, and you can actually see why these go bad in there. It's pretty clear. Let me get my other light. Look at all that gunk and stuff that builds up, especially here in the rust belt. You get a little bit of water, a little bit of salt, it'll corrode everything together. I'm pretty sure these bolts are made of steel. Let me see, this is magnetic, so yeah. What we have here is a case of a steel bolt on an aluminum holder going into an aluminum transmission. Just not a good idea. I'm surprised they didn't make these out of aluminum, guys. These bolts should be aluminized. I think that would have been the best way to do it, but it's the way Chrysler did it. But either way, we are able to extract everything out. It's a good day. This is how I typically see these going. Even though they can break off like this, you're able to get them off. Now you will notice on this one there's some impact marks here. The reason why is when I was trying to get my oil pan off, I used a air hammer to give it a couple light blows and just work off any rust, because my whole goal was trying to remove this finger holder and leave the stud in there to just extract the stud. However, this one had other plans. The first one we removed on this side looked exactly like this, but when I used my air hammer here on the sides and a little bit of oil, I was able to slide it off and the stud remained. So that's why we see those little impact marks on there, in case you guys are wondering why those were on there. I did not use an impact hammer to loosen this, guys. You want to be very careful if you try to do that, because if this breaks flush in there, it's going to be fun. You're going to have to bust out the welder or some drill bits. But that's why you have those impact marks there. I was just trying to remove the little holder off the stud so we could just work with the stud, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. It wasn't as easy as that. So that's how we do the extraction, guys. I know it can be a little intimidating and a little scary, but I've done enough of these where this happens quite a bit, and at this point, they're gonna have to come off one way or another. So hopefully you guys found this video useful. Alright guys, that's how you basically remove broken studs, and if you have a broken holder holding onto your stud on these NEG1 Mercedes transmissions. Now, although be it this is a Mercedes trans, it is in a Jeep Wrangler. They do share a lot of parts together, guys. This is just one of those situations where we have crossbreeding of different manufacturers, sharing technology with each other, or just borrowing designs from one another. Either way, you guys saw it was really easy to take off. I do have a full video on this trans service that actually shows them breaking off and everything, and I also kind of mocked it up again in that video to show people how to remove it, similar to what we did here. However, I made this video separately just to show you guys just this portion of it, because sometimes you don't want to watch a whole video just to gain the knowledge of a smaller video. So with that said, hopefully this video is very informational and helps you guys out if you guys run into this situation. First rule of thumb is just don't panic. Do these steps and you can get it off with a little bit of work. So please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. It definitely helps the channel grow. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.